welcome back to my channel. This is Becky, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit about Archangel Jophiel. That's the yellow ray. The chakra is the solar plexus, and his focus is wisdom, the element of fire, balance expressed as logical thought processes, self-confidence, and goal manifestation. Archangel Jophiel has been really helping me try to fine-tune my goals and come up with better plans. I was very rigid in my thinking when I was raising my kids. It was just very, okay, I'm going to be a teacher, and then I'll just die at the chalkboard, and I'll retire a teacher. And now that my kids are successful adults on their own, and I'm at the grandma stage of life, Archangel Jophiel is telling me, well, you don't have to keep doing that. You don't enjoy that anymore. You did for 3 decades, and now it's okay to learn something new. And so that's why I went ahead and started this channel and started my business, and I'm so grateful that you're here supporting me in this new endeavor. And I appreciate that you have patience as I'm growing and developing with help from the archangels. So it says the third ray of the visible rainbow spectrum, the yellow ray, influences the solar plexus chakra on the physical level, which is the third dimension, and is the transmuting ray for the crown chakra, which is the fourth dimension. It is the second spiritual ray and is perceived as orange-yellow, moving through to pale gold, like the best quality crystals of citrine. Jophiel is the archangel of wisdom and works with the angels from the halls of wisdom. His ray is often called the sunshine ray. His name means beauty of God. Archangel Jophiel's ray helps you develop a fresh approach to life, bringing back enchantment and pleasure. Jophiel builds connections to align you to your higher self through the multitude of dimensions. He can be thought of as a cosmic ladder. He can instantly help you recover soul fragments that may have been scattered by shock, fright, or severe illness. Jophiel's gifts include the wisdom flame, intuition, perception, joy, bliss, and soul illumination. You can invoke Jophiel when your creativity needs a boost to prevent feelings of low self-esteem, inertia, or mental fog. He helps you absorb new information. His wisdom flame can be invoked to help you in any situation that needs clear mental perception, discrimination, or inspiration. So Jophiel has been really helping me with clearing away from the misguidings of other people, because I really need to be following my own North Star, and I was stuck in my South Node listening to other people giving me suggestions and advice, trying to steer me away from what I've been called to do. And one of the things I've been called to do is to learn how to divinate and use the tools. And so I wanted to read this little blurb about the use of tarot, because many of my religious church friends have stopped talking to me because of this. But it says, tarot cards have evolved from their historical roots to serve a diverse range of purposes. Today, tarot is not only a tool for divination, but also an instrument for personal growth, psychological exploration, meditation, and creative inspiration. Over time, we're gonna see me evolve as I use these various tools to be able to really tap into my full potential as a creative, artistic being, giving this beautiful gift of life to be able to express myself fully and authentically, whether people agree with it or not. When I was doing yoga this morning, I had a couple channel messages again. This song is Angel by Sarah McLachlan, and I'm going to read the lyrics from this one. It said, spend all of your time waiting for the second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction, oh beautiful release. Memories seep from my veins. Let me be empty, oh and weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight. I'm in the arms of an angel. Fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. So tired of the straight line, and everywhere you turn, there's vultures and thieves at your back. The storm keeps twisting. You keep on building on lies that you make up for all that you lack. It don't make no difference, escaping one last time. It's easier to believe in this sweet madness, oh, this glorious sadness that brings me to my knees. And then the other song that I got, because again, I've been reminiscing and letting go of the past. There's a movie that I absolutely love. Daryl Hannah was one of my favorite actresses when I was growing up, and she did a movie called Clan of the Cave Bear, and I highly recommend it. And in that storyline, the books are even better, but in the storyline, she ends up having to leave her clan, which had adopted her. She was a more evolved human and was being raised by cavemen. So she didn't fit in. They tried to, break her down and train her to be like them, but she had her own destiny to fulfill, and it meant even having to leave her son, who was more like the cavemen than herself. And then the books continue on her adventure and how she ends up finding her one true love mate, and they end up having a little girl. So I feel like I was brought back to these to kind of realize that I still have a whole nother life to live within this lifetime, right? I'm only at the halfway point. If we get 100 years, then I'm only at the halfway point. And so just because my kids are now adults and I have grandchildren doesn't mean I can't have one true love of a lifetime that evolves into another beautiful family, which is just add to the family that I've already got. So this song is Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin, I think. My child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking before I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, "I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you." And the cat's in the cradle, and the silver spoon, Little Boy Blue, and the Man in the Moon. When you coming home, Dad? I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You'll know we'll have a good time then. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, "Thanks for the ball. Come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw?" I said, "Not today. I got a lot to do." He said, "That's okay." And he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. It said, "I'm gonna be like him. Yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him." Well, he came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, "Son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit and talk for a while?" For those of you that are adults, I'm going to get emotional, who get to look at their beautiful adult children and just be so proud of what they're doing and accomplishing when the world was so against them. It's such a blessing, and and not everybody gets to experience that. So he shook his head and said with a smile, "What I'd like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later. Can I have them, please?" You don't want to miss out on those small moments of raising your children. And I did the best I could to really cherish every moment of being their mom. And I'm still their mom, but now I'm life coach mom, and it's a different stage of life. I've long since retired. My son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, "I'd like to see you if you don't mind." He said, "I'd love to see you, Dad, if I could find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle, and the kids have the flu, but it's sure been nice talking to you." And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, He'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. So I have to be careful because I had to work a lot as a single mom, and so in these seasons of waiting where I'm just going, Lord, I want to be so much more part of their lives. I have to remember that there's still more work for me to do out in the world, and it's just a different level of interaction that you get to have with your adult children. Okay, so this is something that I taught my children to help them get through the bullying and all the hard times. Because with having my children be on the autism spectrum and having different communication style than most people, they had sensory issues that kind of left them a little ostracized. And so with my one daughter, she was very clothing sensitive. So she had aversions to a lot of materials, and so when she had a favorite outfit that she liked, she wore that thing all the time. And so it would get stained, or she would, it would be too small or whatever, and we'd have to like, okay honey, we got to change this up. So one time I remember telling her, I don't know, she's probably like 6 years old, and I just remember telling her, I'm like, honey, that outfit, it needs to be washed. I said, I haven't washed it yet, and I know you want to wear it, but I can't have you going to school being the smelly kid. The kids aren't going to want to hang out with you and play with you if you're the one that smells really bad. And she just looked at, I said, they won't want to be your friends. And she looked at me and she said, Mom, if they care so much about how I smell and how I dress, then they're not really my friends. I was like, true. I mean, your friends are unconditional, but still a little faulty in the logic, because we're just trying to justify our bad habits. But this brought me to a Dr. Seuss quote that I use with them, and I also use it with students, and that is, those who matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter. Because the world is going to do their best to try to tell us how to dress, how to act, and she was right to a degree. Our friends are going to love us unconditionally, and so even if we are a little smelly sometimes, that's not going to stop them from being our friend. But they might tell us to go shower and put some clean clothes on and wear some deodorant. All right, let's take a look at the Keepers of the Light. See which Ascended Master wants to talk to us. I don't know if any of you have any middle school boys, but when my son was in middle school, I remember putting like deodorant sticks inside the cargo pants of his little army pants, because I'd be like, son, I know you think it's funny to stink, but it's not funny. Here, please put deodorant on at some point. I'm telling you, our kids, they put us through a lot, but it is so worth it. It is so rewarding and such a blessing. All right, we have Lady Nada, the Heart Awakening. Awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. And that's what I'm trying to do. I've always been, pouring love into everybody else and trying to receive it back. Well, you have to be able to sit back and allow it to come in instead of running out for it, and because then you just scare people away when you chase after it and be like, I want to be your friend, and they're like, you're weird, go away. But if you just do your own thing, and then like-minded people come into your life and they'll be like, what are you doing? Oh, cool. And then you can develop a friendship. But for us neurodivergent people, it often takes a lot of no's before we get yeses, and sometimes we just get so comfortable being alone and just forget to receive love instead of just giving it and keep on moving. We have light, work your light. So that's our next message. It's going to be the work the light. Because there is darkness inside each of us, that it can be a false light when you just go around giving out compliments. And I mean, I like doing it just because I know I enjoy receiving compliments, but it's a give and take, and it's a healthy balance. So we have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution and expression. Synchronicity, I've had this one before. And I'm trying to come out of the cave. I'm still not quite talking to as many people as I know I probably should be. Last night I was doing laundry at the laundromat, and there's this woman I could tell was pretty frustrated with her 2 little ones who kept wanting something to drink, and I could tell she didn't have money to get something to drink. And so I remember those days, and I just went ahead and was like, hey, I've got some water bottles with some little Kool-Aid packets in my car if you want. And she was hesitant, but then took it, and I know was very grateful. And of course those little ones were just tickled pink. All right, Crystal Alchemy Oracle. So let's see what the crystals have to tell us. I know people think it's weird when I say we can talk to the plants, we can talk to the animals telepathically, you can evoke messages, and that's why some people will, not be comfortable in crowds. I know for me, when I hear people's thoughts telepathically, because I have the clairs, then what do I do with that information when I know that someone's, got negative thoughts or even positive thoughts sometimes make me run. I'll be like, oh, go on. Oh, please don't talk to me. Here we go. Ooh, Dragon's Blood Jasper. This is for your root chakra. It says triumph, courage, and life force. And I have Dragon's Blood Sage that is one of my favorites, so that's awesome. Okay. Let's go next with Healing Waters. I know people keep telling me my sensitivity is a good thing, but in a world that really holds it against you for being sensitive, I've always had to learn to toughen up. I lived with a very masculine, dominating caveman type of ancestors that were not interested in girls crying, and so they would make sure that I would toughen up. And so now, trying to unlearn that and being okay with crying, especially around other people, yeah, that's very interesting lessons to be learned. I prefer to have my emotions, be stoic, and then process them when I get home in private or in my car away from everybody. All right, for those that are in their season of healing, we have thank you, gratitude, appreciating what's sustaining you. I think sometimes we get caught up in the pain and the hurt of life experiences that we forget to be grateful for those experiences. I'm sitting here, boo-hooing about when my kids were little, but I'll tell you what, there were times when they were little and I was actually going through it that I couldn't wait, and I'm sure I know there were times where I was like, I can't wait for you guys to be grown up so I can live alone. And now I'm regretting having said that, because I'm just like, but now I want those memories. I want that time back. And so don't wish away the blessings that you've got, even if they're stressful. You're gonna look back, and that's what makes life worth living and cherishing and relishing. When you're on your deathbed, you're gonna be thinking about all those little moments that you had and the experiences that you had, and you don't want to miss out on any of that. All right, this is the Star Seed Oracle. Have I showed that yet? So for my star seeds, we have your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability. So I've always been manifesting. Anything that I've ever wanted, I've been able to get. But right now, God's been taking the paintbrush out of my hand and says, how about you let me decide what this next chapter, let me have control over your life. And I'm like, but we're co-creating, but I like control more than the unknown. And now that I used to be that way because I would say that my kids would get kicked in the butt for the decisions that I made, right? So I didn't want them to have to go through any more pain and trauma than they already were experiencing. And so it was if I kept control of everything, well, then I could create a safe container for them to learn lessons and grow and evolve and have fun. And but I mean, ultimately God was always in control. I just had the illusion of being in control. And so now God said, girl, it's just you, let me do this. And I'm like, okay. All right, let's get a message from the Spirits of Nature Oracle. Let's see what the nature spirits have to say. All I know is where I'm living, we seem to either have super cold or super hot temperature. It's very interesting. I just wish we could have more temperate climates. I'm sure there's other people that feel the same way. Here we go. Forest diversity. Card 16. Alright, let's take a look at what card 16 has to tell us about forest diversity. It says forests are so much more than a collection of trees. They are essential for life on Earth. 300 million people throughout the world live in forests, and 1.6 billion depend on the resources for their livelihood. This complex web of organisms, including plants, animals, fungi, and bacteria, is home for nearly half of the Earth's known species. Forests also clean the soil and keep it in place with their immense network of roots, protecting watersheds and providing fresh water for aquifers. They provide oxygen for many life forms to breathe. In turn, they take in the carbon dioxide that many creatures emit. The vast rainforests in particular have been called the lungs of the earth. Forests provide a variety of medicines and freely offer mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual healing. Their presence also inspires a sense of awe and wonder that can soothe the soul. This incredible diversity of offerings reminds us how important it is to take action to preserve these life-giving forests and honor the sacredness of the spirit. I think that's why I have a hard time watching wealthy people just keep building more concrete jungles, and I'm just like, can't you take that money and pour it into the nature preserves? Can't we save the rainforest? Can't we attack, the garbage that's in the water system and purify the water? Why do we have to keep building concrete buildings? Why do we need all these skyscrapers? Why do we need so many roads and highways? Why can't we take that money and apply it to Mother Nature and rebuilding the natural systems? Our message is, you've fallen into a rut, following daily routines with little variation or sense of purpose to them. You feel the staleness and the predictability permeate your day. Although you are tempted to add more variety, it's easier to cling to a regime out of an illusionary sense of security and safety. When activities call to you, you immediately find objections and self-judgments that stop you in your tracks. This era in your life is demanding that you diversify your interests. Enroll in that dance class or the voice lessons you've been considering. Explore different and unfamiliar routes to your destination. Take a slow walk through the forest and enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells. Follow that urging to pursue a creative project. Introduce and commit to a daily spiritual practice. Be willing to take some chances with the experiment called life. Diversification will help you feel healthier and more balanced. As you experiment with diversifying your interests and activities, thank the forest for their tremendous contribution of the oxygen that you've been breathing. And I do believe that some of the temperature issues, like I was saying, are because we don't appreciate and value Mother Nature the way we should. All right, let's get a message from the Mystical Shaman Pocket Oracle. So the Mystic Realm has a message for us, so let's hear what it is. 2. We have the Heart of the Sky, and we have Jaguar. I'm going to start with Jaguar, because that was one of the spirit animals for the 4 winds that I learned about when I was getting trained to be a neuro shaman. And I wanted to say that the Jaguar represents the underworld. So what card was that, 38? No, 28. 28. All right. The Jaguar is the protector of all life in the Amazon, and in times of fear, she brings courage and certainty. Jaguar is at the top of the food chain and never becomes prey. With great stealth, she can track her mark from a distance and not be seen or heard. She moves gracefully through the jungle, relishing the abundance of the forest. Fearless and at ease, Jaguar knows the ways beyond death and is the master of the shadows, blending invisibly between light and dark, night and day. Jaguar calls you to explore beyond the walls that confine you, to go inside your normal routine, to push your limits and boundaries. She's delivering an invitation from your own future to investigate the unknown, to venture into the mystery and the dark places you've been reluctant to explore. Toss all caution to the wind. Know that your Jaguar instinct will serve you well. What in your life needs to be released? What have you carried around with you far too long? Which is ready to be let go of once and for all? Jaguar medicine is available to heal the fear so you can allow it to go. It's time to come out of the shadows and end the shadow games that you may have unconsciously agreed to play. Call on Jaguar to unfetter you from the toxic relationships and recover your natural instinct for the right people and situations. And I do know that my kids are wanting me to move forward, and not just sit and reminisce about when they were little and how much fun we had but also how stressful it was. And, they want me to move on. They want me to find happiness. They want me to be able to explore the world and all the mysteries of it. So it's not like, they're sitting there, actually sometimes they roll their eyes at me. They're like, "Mother, get over it." But I'm like, "But being a mom was the best thing ever." And they're like, "Well, it's time to do something new." So the Heart of the Sky is the love force that made all creation possible. This same force is present when you create with originality, when you bring formlessness to form or inspired ideas to expression. This primeval force does not know good or bad. It is up to us to provide that clear intention that will guide it to manifest. The Heart of the Sky helps us call in beauty from the invisible world and birth it in the world of matter. The Heart of Sky brings you a sacred reminder. You are a channel for the original energy of creation. Become the paintbrush, the canvas, and the artist, all guided by the Heart of the Sky. Set your intention ethically and clearly and allow the universe to take care of the details. You may feel responsible for everything and everyone. Perhaps you think you have to do it all alone. This takes you into a dark hole where you lose trust in the natural order of the cosmos. Shed your lofty sense of duty and recognize that this is a false prison of your own making. You can open the door and set yourself free in an instant. I know I had someone the other day was like, "Well, if you're not happy being in this town, go somewhere else." And I was like, "Believe me, I'm trying, but you gotta have money in order to do that. So as soon as I got money, bye-bye." All right. Human Spirit Oracle. Let's see, as we try to reconnect to Spirit and have faith that God's in control, the archangels are with us and moving us around and helping us to navigate our destiny. Let's see what message we get. Siren's Song. Oh, I've actually been told that I'm like a mermaid. that I can attract people in with mystery and allure. Some people say it's like I'm like the Little Mermaid who like is down in her cavern, like looking at all of her thingamabobs and thingamajigs. And people are like, why don't you come out here on the land and play with everybody? And I'm like, well, it doesn't look like you guys are having much fun over there. Like, do I really want to go get legs and walk with you guys? I don't know. All right, 21. 21 says, that lure of the siren song. It beckons you in and calls you with the promise of beauty, treasure, and magic. But not everything is as it seems. Before you follow the call, make sure you know where it is you are going or what it is that you are agreeing to. Most of the time, if something seems too good to be true, it is. Ask questions, educate yourself. Seek that knowledge before you jump head first into something. If you have a gut reaction or a little voice in your head or just a moment of second guessing something, then lean into that. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Is it because of a past trauma, or is it your intuition telling you that this might not be all that it's cracked up to be? Whether it is a purchase, a situation, or a human interaction, just take a moment to really think about what you are doing before you do it. Know exactly what it is you are getting into, because it could save you a lot of time and energy in the long haul. And I've tried making friends with people before who set me off course, so that also is another reason why I have had just like about learning to make new friendships. Like, I can make new acquaintances easy and that's fine, but real friendships where you like rely on each other and you depend on each other, that's a little more like outside of my comfort zone, because I haven't had very good experience with having actual friendships. So that's a wound that I'm trying to heal. All right, and I do have another deck that I had come across in my stuff that I wanted to pull. It's called Moon Magic. It's your guide to the magical lunar oracle. I always find the moon very fascinating. If you work customer service, and when I was teaching, like, I could tell when there was going to be a full moon. I also could tell when my students hadn't taken their medications. And the people that work with me would be like, how did you know? And I'm like, you just learn people. You learn to check you can see their pupils, you can check their mannerisms, their breathing rate. Like, there's a lot of little subtle signs that'll be like, yeah, that one's going to be a handful today. I even had some that were diabetic who would intentionally spike their sugar levels or drop their sugar levels in order to get an ambulance called and stuff. Like, people do all kinds of stuff. So, gotta be on your toes when you're helping people. Let's see about moon magic. We get card 50, which is Glimmering. And I love it. She's doing her little yoga pose, tree pose. I said card 50. 50. Yeah, matches my number of years on the planet. Glimmering. The key words for this card are unique, gifts, and loving. One of the most sparkling cards in the whole deck. The glimmering is all the magic of the northern lights manifesting in your life. It is a card of hope, anticipation, and joyfulness. It might indicate that auditions, interviews, presentations, promotions, and graduations are in the cards. It represents an opportunity for you to show that you are It represents an opportunity for you to show what you are made of and to demonstrate what you can do. You have a unique set of talents, skills, and abilities that you can draw upon to spread more light in the world. We can all do little things to make the world a kinder, happier place. We can each play a part in fighting poverty, want, ignorance, bigotry, animal neglect, and so on. When the glimmering card shows up in a reading, it is suggesting that you find ways to share your own unique light with the world. What can you do today that would ease the burden of another? What kindness can you offer to society or to the animal kingdom? How can you lessen the impact of poverty in your local area? Could you donate food to a food bank or an animal charity? Could you donate or raise money for a charity that is close to your heart? Could you set up a free library for your neighbors to enjoy, or form a book club or a knitting circle to bring your community together? Perhaps you like baking and might want to donate baked goods to a soup kitchen or sell them to raise funds for a community project. Whatever you have talents and the ability to do it soon and share the loving light of your kindness out into the world around you. This card also represents an opportunity for you to take center stage and to be the center of attention in a very positive way. It is a card which offers a glimmer of hope to all it touches. So be prepared, because this is your time to shine and the world will benefit from your lights. So don't be afraid to shine bright. Shine bright like a diamond. All right, let's do one other new thing that I got, which I talked about, was I picked up some ruins. So these are the training cards for me to learn the different ruins. I thought that'd be a fun little new thing to throw in here, is to pick one of the cards and tell you about it. And then we'll get a closing message from Archangel Raphael. All right, let's see what we get. This one is called the Radio. Oh, I'm sorry, it's pronounced Rytho, and it's rune number 5. The theme is the wheel, Thor's chariot. Keywords are journey, quest, crossroads, movement, inner exploration, and reunion. Some magical working for this rune is seeking direction, bless a journey, create movement, reconnect and reunite. And some key phrases are a journey or vacation, a spiritual quest, move towards your destination, and crossroads or a decision point. Very interesting. All right, let's see what Archangel Raphael Healing Oracle has to tell us to end the message for today. I'm liking all of these messages, so hopefully you're enjoying them as well. And hopefully if you do, then you'll hit the like, the share, the subscribe buttons, so that way you're informed when I put out more content, and we can get the messages out to a wider range of audience. So this one is Good Night's Sleep, and again in synchronicity, because we've had this one. It says, Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me relax and sleep deeply, for I know that you are guiding, healing, and protect me while I rest. So even though I've been struggling with the whole sitting still and letting things come to me, because it seems like it's taking forever, it's really not. It's just coming in little pieces, and I'm trying to find a healthier balance instead of being like Energizer Bunny running after everything. And so hopefully you are being able to find that inner balance and finding peace and harmony within your own vessel to then be able to calm and bring in everything that you're hoping to bring in. All right, until next time, namaste. I hope you have a blessed day.